My amp unit, Crown Jewel just got off the airwaves and I am shook, rocked to the core over what I just witnessed in that main event, man. I came to terms with the fact that Vince McMahon was most likely not giving the championship to Bray Wyatt anytime soon. I came to terms with the fact that Vince McMahon was most likely already in the process of casting this Bray Wyatt character aside, just like the last Bray Wyatt character. And I came to terms with the fact that Bray Wyatt is on SmackDown. That's a Universal Championship, so it probably isn't going to happen unless you were to split up their personalities, right? Bray Wyatt on one brand, The Fiend on the other. But Vince McMahon wouldn't do any of this, right? Crown Jewel just got off the airwaves, man, and I was shook. I am shook right now as I think of the image of Bray Wyatt hoisting that Universal Championship high in the air as we go off the air for Crown Jewel. I can't fucking believe it. I'll get to that at the end of the... You guys know, where am I? I'm all over the place, man. I'm just shook. I really am. I was not expecting that. I kind of already started the process in my dome piece after coming to terms with the reality that Bray wasn't going to win this match. How are they going to make Bray still look dominant? Because at Hell in a Cell, he looked like a joke. So my fear going into this, we already knew Seth was going to walk away with the title, or at least that's what we thought. How was Bray going to look at the end of this? I didn't want him looking weak or any worse than he did at Hell in a Cell, and I just don't put any stock anymore. I don't give any benefit of the doubt to Vince McMahon anymore. So that was a big fear going into this. Not only did Bray look fucking dominant as fuck, he hoisted that championship when it was all said and done. I just rocked to the core, man. So forgive me, where are my manners? The rules. This is the good, the bad, and the ugly review. This isn't your grandmom and grandpop's review where we just go over every match. No, we're going to rate this by dissecting it match by match. Rule number 1 in the good, the bad, and the ugly. Every match gets a tally on the main show, not the pre-show. It was a battle royal, I believe. I don't think there was anything else. But only the main show matches. Everything gets a tally in either the good, the bad, or the ugly column. Number 2 in the rules, every ugly, any tally that goes in the ugly, guys, in the final count, that's going to get crossed out and turned into 2 bads. So you want to stay away from that ugly column because that'll drastically change the outcome of the final tally in seeing if this was a good or bad pay-per-view / special event. So stay away from that ugly column. Number 3 in the rules, in the event of a tiebreaker, we will then and only then go to the pre-show, which again was the Battle Royal, and that'll decide the outcome of if this was a good special event or not. Those are the rules. This is the good, the bad, and the ugly. We're going to go over every single fucking match and see where this special event / pay-per-view adds up ranking-wise. Let's start from the beginning, and again, we'll go over that Bray Wyatt shit. Hopefully I've calmed down a little bit when we get to that matchup. Right from the jump, we had Brock Lesnar versus Cain Velasquez. At this point, there's been no wrestling at all on this show, and we've already seen more pyro than the last 5 WrestleManias combined. That's how much pyro was at the beginning of this thing, and for Brock Lesnar, maybe even Kane had some, who knows. Now later in the show, that would all pale in comparison to what Tyson Fury would get. That guy got the most pyro out of anybody tonight, but that's another story. So Lesnar, Kane, by the time they even rang the bell to start that first match, pyro, the budget was already fulfilled from now to 2029. I don't think you'll see pyro for years to come. But now back to the match. The match itself, just like I said on my preview vid, lasted only 2 minutes. And like I said on that preview vid, that's all it should be going. They built this up UFC style. You better deliver a UFC style matchup / fight. Nobody wants to see Cain Velasquez in there having a 10-minute wrestling match because he's not going to put on a good 10-minute wrestling match. This is Cain Velasquez, guys, not The Undertaker. So, just like I said in that preview vid, listen, you backed yourself up into a corner. You can't go out there and now put on a 10-minute match. You got this big fight feel. You better make this UFC-esque. Not saying that I want to see that. I'd much rather a wrestling match between Brock Lesnar and a wrestler. Somebody he can, yes, go brute for brute with, but also do some wrestling moves with. There's a concept. But Cain Velasquez isn't that guy, and we've known for weeks that that was going to be the match. So now that you've already set yourself up into this predicament, what are you going to do about it? They did it the best way possible. 2 minutes. Brock gets rocked by a UFC-style smack in the dome piece. Hits the canvas. Cain goes to finish him off, but gets caught in the Kimura lock. Cain delivers, or tries to deliver some more blows while he's in this lock, but Brock's got it on in devastating fashion. Cain has no choice but to give up. Brock Lesnar not only retains his championship, but he is the dominant force that has tied it up with Cain 1-1. Don't be surprised if Vince has a rubber match / fight in the future, because that's something Vince and Fox might want to do. Not on a pay-per-view, but on Fox. Don't put it past these guys. So Brock Lesnar ends up winning this match, retaining his championship, all in, again, just a couple of minutes. Post-match, Brock delivered an F5 to Cain as an exclamation point, and then Mysterio makes a save, swinging a chair like he's swinging for Grand Slams in the World Series. Rey Mysterio was laying into Brock Lesnar. So badass that Lesnar finally had to retreat. The first 5 or 6 shots, Brock wanted to go toe-to-toe. After 7, Brock was hightailing it. So, listen, guys, as a fan, I can see why people didn't like this, shit on it, wanted to see something different, thought it was ridiculous. I get you as a fan. My job as a reviewer is, once everything is already booked, what happens now? Where do we go from here? So as a fan, yeah, maybe I'm not totally happy with it, but as a reviewer, that's the best way WWE could have went with this match. They booked themselves and backed themselves into a corner. The only way out was to make this a UFC-style fight, and those usually end in a few minutes via knockouts or submissions. Maybe an unpopular decision, but that goes into the good, man. It was a big fight feel, too. It really was. With all the pyro that went off, and Brock Lesnar looking in tip-top shape, Cain Velasquez staring from across that ring, you really felt it. And when Brock got rocked, he dropped as if he was a UFC fighter that just got rocked. So, maybe because he's been in that situation before. Now, yes, BC, that's the problem. It was all UFC. This is WWE. I understand. I'm telling you, I got you as a fan. But this is what they booked. My job as a reviewer is to go over this card. Well, that's the only way that match should have went off the hinges. Oh, I shouldn't say off the hinges, right? That's a negative swing on it. If something goes off the hinges, that's usually not good. That's the only way this thing should have went off. It would have went off the hinges if they let this go more than a couple of minutes. Then it would have gotten embarrassing. Cain Velasquez is not ready to do that with Brock. So if you're going to blame anybody, you blame the old man in Stamford, Connecticut for even putting them two together. But he did, and that was the only outcome. So I'm cool with it. I know social media blew up. Hey, man, that's a Brock Lesnar fucking fight, you know, and I'm always down for a Brock Lesnar fight. You had the extracurricular activity with the F5 on Velasquez, then you had Rey Mysterio jump in. This will probably set up a David versus Goliath match in the future. Rey Mysterio versus Brock. I'm down to see one more of those. So, we'll see. But the first one gets a good from me because if they did anything other than what they did in that first match, I was going to flip on that shit. And fuck bad, that was going into the ugly. It was the only way they could have went, and if you guys saw my preview video, that's exactly how I said it should go. Up next, Tag Team World Cup. This is an automatic before I even talk about it. Bad. That's right. No apologies. You guys know how I feel about schmaz matches. You're going to take 8 of your tag teams and just throw them into this 20-plus minute match, and after it's all said and done, we're supposed to take any of these teams seriously? Because I knew how this was going to go, and I was right. But let's discuss, and then we'll talk about what I mean about being right from the beginning. You see, first and foremost, WWE was determining this World Cup and saying that whoever wins this is the best tag team in the world. But who determines that it's the best tag team in the world? One match of ultimate schmaz fest proportions determines this? I understand promotion But this is nothing more than trying to fit everyone onto the card. The tag team division deserves more respect than that. But of course not. So here we go. We got the Lucha Underground Summer House Party versus Rude and Ziggler to kick it off. Rude and Ziggler defeat the party in less than 5 minutes. Next up is Zack Ryder and Kurt Hawkins. They're defeated in less than 60 seconds. Heavy Machinery then defeats Rude and Ziggler in 4 minutes. New Day comes out, defeats Heavy Machinery in 3 minutes. Then the B-Team in 1 minute. Then the Revival in 4 minutes. Finally, Gallows and Anderson come out and they beat the Heavy Machinery in 2 minutes. And then Gallows and Anderson beat the Viking Raider Experience Time Machine Adventure Warriors in 4 minutes. Did you guys keep up with any of that? I'm sure you fucking boggled your dome piece just trying to understand all that, just like we did watching it. So let me simplify this for you. 8 teams had a match, and it was decided within a 25-minute period. You don't find anything wrong with that? None of these matches went more than 5 minutes, but we're supposed to take these tag teams seriously. Now, I'm supposed to see any 2 of these teams in the future at a pay-per-view and think they can legitimately, realistically go 15 minutes. 15 minutes when none of these could go 5! But that's what you want me to believe. 8 teams. How many matches is that, guys? What is that? That's fucking 1, 2, 3, 4... 5, 6, 7, what is that? 8 different victories? If there's 8 teams and you had to have 7 defeats, 7 or 8, I don't know my fucking math, right? It's been a long day. I already put up a video earlier today, the AEW vs NXT Week 5 review. Check that out after this review. Then I had to fucking watch all of Crown Jewel, jump right into this review. My math's a little off. The point is, 7 or 8 fucking completions of a match. All within a 25-minute period, and you're telling me those are the best tag teams in the world? Come on, bro! If you don't see why that's being placed in the bed, you got a couple 2-3 screws loose up in your dome piece. You gotta get them rebolted and tighten that shit up. I'm not buying that. I'd rather you don't fit everybody onto the card and just give them respect. Pump up a few teams and showcase them the right way. I'm not going to spend any more time on that. I don't apologize for putting that Tag Team Turmoil World Cup into the bad section. Now, all said and done, it's good to see Gallows and Anderson hoist that stupid trophy up. They're finally, after years, giving them some fucking credit, but I'll wait. I'll reserve any excitement until I see them do it consistently, because I've seen Gallows and Anderson win a couple of big matches, and then a fucking day or 2 later, they're back on the 50-50 booking train. I'll get excited when I start seeing Gallows and Anderson really start to become consistent as badasses. Third matchup up on the card, Cesaro versus Mansoor. 12-minute match, damn good and damn fun. I hate the fact that Cesaro lost, but we all understand why. This was a treat to the hometown kid and to the hometown, the home country, if you will, in Saudi Arabia. Mansoor really, man, that crowd was hyped behind him. I understand that there was no other way you could go here. I hate seeing Cesaro lose all of these matches. And after this match, you saw the social media, wrestling community, fickle as ever, talking about how Mansoor should be on the main roster already, talking about how he should be on TV, talking about how he should be holding titles right now. Forget about Cedric Alexander, forget about Ali, forget about Ricochet, forget about Buddy Murphy, forget about all of them. Now it's Mansoor. It's like the flavor of the month, or better yet, flavor of the week. Every time a good wrestler comes by the wrestling community, they jump on their bandwagon and they're flipping pissed about how they're not being used correctly. Well, let's utilize some people that are already on the roster that are not being utilized. How about we start there? Just saying. Everybody's always on to the fucking next. And these guys continually get smaller and smaller. Soon we're going to be flipping out that Hornswoggle never got his just due. Relax on the Mansoor shit. Yes, he's a good wrestler. There's 1,000,001 good, even great wrestlers in this world. Doesn't mean everybody can get pushed or be on the main roster or get television time. That's just the fact. If that's the case, Billy Buttfuck McGee and Danny Dipshit Dugenheimer would already be in WWE. Shit, Peacock Polly may have already been champion right now. I don't know about Benny Ballsack Bandito, but Peacock Polly would be. They're all great wrestlers, but the bottom line is there's only so many fucking slots. Relax on Mansoor. Let's get the roster, the people on the roster right now, some championships and even some pushes. Let's get them out of 50-50 booking, and then I'll be happy. Fucking A, man. Up next, match number 4. Oh, did I even... That's obviously a good, man. Mansoor and Cesaro brought the shit. They brought the game. That was really good to see. Good wrestling. There was some good wrestling on this Crown Jewel, man. The next match I'm about to talk about was not one of them. Braun Strowman took on Tyson Fury. Now you guys see why matches like Brock and Kane and Strowman and Fury should not be more than 2 minutes in length. Now you see what I'm talking about. This was hard to watch. And in complete honesty, Tyson didn't even look horrible in there with Braun, all things considered. But you could just feel the awkwardness and the uncomfortableness when they tried to make this a wrestling match. I mean, Tyson even had a hard time covering Braun for a pin. You could see he struggled with that. In a wrestling match, Braun would squash Fury like a bug. That's the truth. But like always, Braun is booked like a joke. Braun gets knocked out on the outside and subsequently counted out. That's right, Tyson Fury wins via a count out, via a knockout, if that makes sense. He was knocked out, so he couldn't even get back in the ring. This is big old Braun. Tyson Fury made light work of him. Post-match, Braun throws his usual post-match temper tantrum and power slams Tyson Fury. Fury doesn't even sell this thing. 9 seconds later, Fury jumps up and says, come back and come on, we'll eat fucking cookies and Capri Suns together and we'll exchange things in our lunch box. Who knows what Tyson Fury was yelling? But he didn't sell Braun Strowman's power slam. And Braun makes it up halfway up the ramp, turns around, sees that Tyson didn't sell it, so Braun's got to turn back around and start heading up because he's like, fuck, he didn't sell it. Now I look like more of a joke. That whole thing was, wow, man. Tyson Fury actually looked better than I expected him to. So I'm not going to put this in the ugly. He deserves some fucking credit, but it's absolutely going into the bad. And especially Braun Strowman just looking like a fucking clown yet again. I didn't think it could get worse than having a 10-year-old tag team champion partner in Nicholas. But they still continue to fucking... Do I even say surprise me? It's not even surprising anymore. They continue to go lower and lower with this guy. I don't even... Match number 5, AJ Styles takes on Humberto. Humberto won this Battle Royal in the pre-show. And I gotta tell you, Humberto better be thanking Sammy Guevara, because if not for Sammy Guevara and AEW pushing Sammy, you would not be seeing Humberto right now, I assure you. Trust me, I know what I'm fucking talking about. I'm not gonna go into it here. If you've seen my past reviews, you know what the fuck I'm talking about. I like this. I did. Not only was it a good match, but you could see the look of desperation on Humberto's face every time he thought he had Styles down for good. It told the story of someone who had the Willy Wonka golden ticket and wasn't about to waste his opportunity. I loved it. But in the end, AJ Styles hit Humberto with a phenomenal forearm and takes him out 1, 2, 3. Huge night for the club. Afterwards, Styles is hoisting up his championship. Gallows and Anderson, their little toy trophy. Even though it's a toy trophy in a nonsensical tag team turmoil World Cup match, the bottom line is the club looked dominant last night. After Styles did that, the club in the middle of the ring, you kind of got a sense of, if they just kept this going with some consistency, that would be nice. It's AJ Styles. Gallows and Anderson, they should be something in this company. What we saw tonight was the beginning of what could be something cool if they just give them a chance. If they don't, this was the last straw. If we continue to see 50-50 mediocrity with all three of these individuals, that's their last chance. Nobody's going to believe in them again. This has to be the rocket for the entire group, the club. I would have loved to have seen Balor join them, to be honest, instead of going over to NXT and turning heel. But that was, from what we're hearing, the original plan just didn't come to fruition. But I love that Styles and Humberto match. That goes into the good column, no question. Again, we saw some damn good wrestling at Crown Jewel tonight. Really cool to see. That was 5, right? Yep, that's 5. Let's go over to the 6th match. This was just amazing. This is going into the good right off the gate. Lacey Evans takes on Natty, and this is going into the good, not because of the wrestling match. In fact, that was their worst wrestling match to date. But that's not shade. This had nothing to do with wrestling at the forefront. What this match symbolized, if that didn't warm your heart and give you goosebumps, man, then you're probably a fucking douchebag, actually. You're nobody I want to share a beer with, I'll tell you that much. Because as I left over on Twitter, man, there's still a lot of people that don't understand the significance of what this meant to the world. There is a lot of fucking countries that do not live the same way your country lives. And it's so cool when you see something that was never before tolerated accepted. And that was such a cool moment for the world, man. And at the end of the day, the wrestling took a back seat. And that I can't usually say that when I'm watching a pro wrestling pay-per-view match. But Lacey Evans and Natty, you saw the tears in their eyes, man. Everybody around. You saw how into it the crowd was. The crowd was into that match. And you can't help but think, the women in attendance, what they were witnessing after knowing how their country didn't allow that. You know, it says so much for what the women can accomplish going forward. Man, it's so cool, dude. It's so cool. I just love seeing the world progress. It's something about that. You know, we're all here for a short time, and when you can see the world progress in the right way, man, that's so badass. Lacey Evans and Natty, dude, just awesome. I don't even know. There are no words. Natty defeats Evans via a sharpshooter, but that was really the backstory, dude, or the afterthought. How that crowd was reacting, how the Amplified Man was reacting, how Natty and Lacey, how the world, I'm sure, was reacting. So much significance. The world changed for the better a little bit tonight. And a lot of people, you know, oh, this is for publicity from Vince and WWE. And guys, you're absolutely probably right. They don't want to be looked at as a bad company. They want to do whatever they can to be shown in a good light. So, yeah, that's what they're supposed to do. But you guys don't understand how hard Vince and WWE pushed for this. This was years in the making since they signed that deal. They were trying to get this accomplished. They just couldn't do it. They pushed. You heard Michael Cole say a bunch of times, if you guys know the backstory, like I do, they tried, pushed, fought for this. And they kept turning Vince down, or it just wasn't adding up. It wasn't the right time. Vince kept getting the door shut on him. They finally got it, man. And, you know, as cheesy as we can say Michael Cole is, dude, the bottom line is when you push, you can create change, dude. Not to sound corny or cheesy, but that's the truth. That's what happened. They didn't give up on this. So whether it's for publicity or not, doesn't fucking matter. If that's for then fucking everything can be for publicity and for extracurricular fucking meaning behind it. I'm cool with it if the end result is going to be the change that is needed. I'm cool with it. So, did I put that in the good, right? Yeah, that's definitely a good, man. Match number 7 coming up. This was Team Flair versus Team Hogan. This was utter chaos, and there's just no way to possibly or actually review this. It was utter chaos, for 25 minutes. But I will say this, for a friggin' schmaz match, this was entertaining as all hell. It was. Every single participant was on the top of their game. The crowd was beyond into this thing. This match, the crowd was into the most. I would even say Mansoor and Cesaro didn't even top it. The Lacey Evans Natty thing, they were in it in a different way. It was much more of an emotional thing. But as far as just the cheering and really into it, that match captivated Saudi Arabia. And the Amplified Man, who at the beginning of this match was just kind of like, get this over with, please. By the middle of it, I was like, this is fucking good. All right. I like the exchange between Bobby Lashley and Rusev. The exchange between Randy Orton and Roman Reigns. I don't like the fact that Roman kicked out of an RKO so simplistically. The RKO should be protected as a devastating finisher. So I don't like that it was just kicked out of in the middle of a regular 5-on-5 match. I don't like that, but I do like everything else that I saw in this match. Everybody just was on top of their game. And again, the crowd made it even more exciting. Roman gets the ultimate W, obviously. It's Roman, Vince's boy. Via the spear over Orton. And Team Hogan gets the ultimate victory. But again, all things considered, entertaining fucking wrestling match. That's a full 5 tally. This is so not how I saw this Crown Jewel going. I thought this was going to be one of the worst shows I've seen all year. Maybe recent years. And here we are going into the main event, and I got 5 and 2. No uglies. But there was good wrestling, man. Humberto and AJ Styles, Cesaro and Mansoor. Team Flair versus Team Hogan was good. Lesnar and Cain Velasquez was far from good, but it was the only way that they could go with it. So I can't put that in an ugly or a fucking bad. What the fuck? Where am I? Oh yeah, the tag team World Cup match. Forget that shit. And Braun Strowman, Tyson Fury. You take those two out of the equation, this card was entertaining so far. But now here we go to the big dog, right? And I'm not talking Roman Reigns. I'm talking the Universal Championship. This is Seth Rollins taking on challenger Bray Wyatt. After Hell in a Cell, I'm not going to rehash this. We know what happened in Hell in a Cell. We pretty much know at this point that Seth is going to retain his championship. The only thing we can hope for is that Bray looks strong. I don't know how you do this. I don't want to see him lose again and then get up afterwards and beat up Rollins. Like, yeah, I lost, but I beat him up afterwards. Nobody cares. You still fucking lost. You know, you're gonna be looked at as no better than Braun Strowman. Braun Strowman can power slam dumpster trucks, but he can't get up from one punch from Tyson Fury. It's a joke. Seth Rollins, Bray Wyatt. The red lights are dimmed again. I don't. This may be an unpopular decision. I'm not a fan of the red lights. Or can we bring them up a little bit? Does it have to be so dark with the red tint? I'm not a fan of it. I know a lot of you guys like it. I don't personally. I would just like to see the lights be brought up a little bit more. But it was pretty brutal in this, man. Bray went through a fucking table early on. Seth Rollins went through 2 tables that he set up. Bray Wyatt took like 15 stomps in this thing. Bray Wyatt went through another part of the staging area at the end of this thing, right into the electrical equipment, supposedly. You saw the electrical shocks and even a fire at one point, like Bray's body was on fire. It was one of those type of things. And then when Seth Rollins went to like tear back the electrical equipment, Bray was standing there. So he wasn't, I thought that was it. I thought that's the way they're going to do this. They're going to pretend that Bray got fucking, who knows, electrocute, who knows? And Seth Rollins wins this thing. And then afterwards, where's the Fiend? He's gone like Michael Myers, right? So he's still badass. I thought that's where they were going, and I was going to shit on this. But no, Bray was standing up when Rollins got down to the electrical equipment. And we had the Mandible Claw turned into Sister Abigail. 1, 2, 3. I shit you not. New WWE Universal Champion. Bray Wyatt, the Fiend. I still can't even... I can't believe that just... I have to go, when I'm done with this, I got a huge Halloween party to go to later on tonight, and I can't wait for that. But I definitely have to watch that ending one more time, because I think I was in such disbelief that I wasn't really calculating what was happening afterwards. I don't know if anything happened afterwards, other than a shitload of pyro more. By the end of this event, the pyro budget till 2029 is definitely ruined now. It's done. Can't just blame Tyson Fury on that. But I have to go back and watch that, because it just rocked me, man. It's one of those moments where Vince realized he fucked up. He finally did the right thing. Somebody must have gotten his ear and said, wow, this is backlash after Hell in a Cell. We got to correct this. And I kind of could see that when and the stipulation of Falls Count Anywhere, underneath they actually put the words, cannot be stopped for anything. So for them to put those words on there means that they knew they fucked up, they hurt us, and they wanted to reassure us it wouldn't happen again. And then to see Bray defeat Seth, I don't think that was in the original plans at all. I think that is directly over how we reacted to Hell in a Cell. And if that's the case, then our voices are being fucking heard. One way or the other, what I wanted to happen from day one actually happened. The Fiend hoisted the championship. And that is so fucking awesome, dude. Can't say enough good things about that. That is absolutely a good. That would go into the great if I had a great column. For those of you wondering why I don't have a great column, it's because WWE doesn't do enough consistent great things. So it's not needed. They do enough consistent ugly things, though, so that's why I have one of those categories. So when this thing was all said and done, you have 6 good, 2 bad, no ugly. 6 and 2. That is a good Crown Jewel event. I never thought I'd be saying that. I'm sure there's people out there in the wrestling world that just can't stand WWE, so you're probably not going to like what you just saw. It sucked. AEW. Relax. We all like AEW too. This has nothing to do with it. This is an event in the middle of the day that kicked ass. A lot of good wrestling, a new champion that fucking I'm sure we all love to see. You know what I mean? It's okay to like this shit once in a while. You don't have to trash it all the time. Just because it's not the cool thing to do. I understand. But come on, man. You can't watch this event and call this a shit show. You can't. You can't even say it was more bad than good. It wasn't. These motherfuckers went out, put it all on the line. Good outcomes, decisions for the most part. Some obviously sloppiness and shit I would change and rearrange, but that goes in every fucking show. So, however you fucking score this thing, I saw this a complete success. And when Bray Wyatt hoisted that championship, my mind was made up. Tell you that right now, man. I can't wait to see where this Fiend character goes from here. He is on top of the wrestling fucking world, man. So badass. I don't care what anybody has to say about this Bray. If you try to shit on this Bray Wyatt thing, see yourself to the amplified door. I don't want to hear it. And I won't. I'll turn a blind eye to any negativity toward this Bray Wyatt thing. This is something that we all should be fucking embracing. They finally did something right. Yes, it was fucking horrible at Hell in a Cell. They totally admitted tonight that they fucked up. I love when Vince McMahon admits he fucked up. You're damn right you did. Listen to the Amplified Man more often. Bray Wyatt's the shit. Treat him as such. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a new Universal Champion. His name is The Fiend. Bray Wyatt. Congrats, Bray. You fucking deserve it. Crown Jewel, Saudi Arabia, complete success. Good job, boys and gals. I'll see you guys all this weekend for the podcast and for SmackDown's review over on Fox. For now, I got a party to go to. Let's rock out the rest of Halloween. Ow! Amplified style.